What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of In the Studio with Conway. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make your own mashup. Here's a quick little preview.
Do you recall, not long ago, when you walk on the sidewalk? Innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other, but the night was warm.
Alright guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're in the studio. Cats are in the audience. We are going to make our very own mashup today. I'm going to show you guys how to do this in Serato DJ. So, first thing is first. When you're creating a mashup, I think it's really good to use a DJ software. This way you can quickly change your songs in and out and you don't have to worry so much about the tempo. When you're using a DAW like Ableton or Logic or FL Studio and you're trying to make your own mashup, it's first of all, you can't right off the bat tell what key your song is in, what BPM your song is in, and trying to get two songs together that are in different keys and BPMs is going to be really hard to do if you don't know that information. So first things first, you're going to want to open up Serato. The reason for this is because Serato, or not only Serato, you can use Tractor, you could use DJ Pro, any DJ software that tells you the basic information of a song is going to be good enough. But first things first, you're going to want a song that is more so of an instrumental, and you want to have access to your own acapellas, whether it's do-it-yourself acapellas or studio acapellas. If you're not aware, you can join DJ pools online, such as Digital DJ Pool, My MP3 Pool. I belong to Digital Music Pool. There's like DJ City, like all kinds of stuff like that. You just put in your basic information, and then you have unlimited access to downloads of different songs, acapellas, instrumentals, extended mixes, clean, dirty, all kinds of stuff for like $20-30 a month. It's highly worth it. Highly recommend it. I'll put a link to Digital Music Pool, which is what I use, down below. So right off the bat, we're here in Serato. I was messing around. I'm trying to plan a new set, so I have a song in mind that I'm going to use that's fully instrumental. This one is called Exhale by Jay Hardway. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted here, but we'll see what happens. So if you're not familiar with the song, it's got a really strong like electro progressive house kind of vibe, but there's not really any vocals. There's just some vocal chops. And when I'm playing a live set, I like to keep the energy going, and I like to play a lot of throwbacks and songs with vocals that people know. So if I play a song that's an instrumental and I have an acapella that's in the same key, that kind of gives me the option to make some kind of live mashup or live remix that hasn't been heard before. So for today, I'll give you a quick little preview of Exhale. Alright, so if you want to listen to the full song, I'll link that down below in Spotify, but the song's mostly an instrumental, and when I hear something like that, immediately I want to throw vocals on it, just to kind of keep the energy high in a live set or in a live setting. So what I would recommend is in your Serato software or Tractor, whatever DJ software you use, it's always good to have a nice little crate or folder or playlist, whatever you want to call it, of your acapellas. So if I go over here in this little key section right here, I can press that, and then I can organize all my songs by key. So Exhale by Jay Hardway is 128 BPM, and it's in 6A, which is the Camelot wheel version of the circle of fifths. So if we open up the Camelot wheel, we could see that 6A is in G minor. So being that Exhale is in G minor, we want to find an acapella with vocals that are in G minor, or in our case for the Camelot wheel, 6A. So when I was messing around with it, I have 3 here: California Love, No Promises, and Lean On. When I was going through them, I found out that Lean On was the better acapella to use. So instead of wasting time and going through all of them, I'm just going to throw Lean On up there because I know it works well. So right off the bat, we want to match the BPM to 128. That's just obvious reasons. If not, it's going to be out of sync. It's not going to sound good. And the key's in the same key, so it doesn't matter. And if you're using Serato, this little box right here, and if you don't know this, you can go to, sorry, not my Serato. You can go to Help, Show Tooltips, and then whatever you highlight, it's going to tell you exactly what it does. So if you didn't already know, this little thing here is the key lock. Make sure that's clicked and highlighted blue. This way when you're messing with the BPMs, it doesn't change the key and pitch it up as you raise up the BPM. Because in this case, we're going to raise it super high, up 30%. But as you'll see, it works because the vocal of the acapella is not originally like an EDM high energy song, so pitching it up really high in this case doesn't sound weird because you're fusing it with an EDM like progressive electro house kind of song, so you're kind of making it fit, which I think gives an interesting vibe. So first things first, we can listen to the acapella a little bit. So we have a little bit of an intro here, and then the vocal's going to start.
Do you recall not long ago when you walk on the sidewalk?
So even though it's pitched up really high, it doesn't really sound
all we
that bad,
did was care for each other, but the night was warm, we were bold and young.
Cool. So that's going to be our first verse here, and I've already set a cue point here.
Do you recall not long ago?
Cool. So now we're going to find a place in the actual instrumental where it fits. So let's see here. Cool. So that could be a good place right there. So we have our little extended intro here. Helps you mix in. Then a nice little impact, which leads us right to upgrade. So now you want to kind of right here. You want to kind of visualize. Well, not visualize in this case. You want to try and hear it in your own head and figure out where in this song the instrumental would fit nicely. So for me, when I'm listening to this, I'm listening and now I'm trying to figure out where the song's gonna go in. And I know the first couple of words are
do you recall
that long ago? So do you recall that long ago? Right there. I know that that's gonna fit there. So let's see. Boom. So now we're gonna let it happen. So we're just gonna press play on here.
Do you recall not long ago when you walk on the sidewalk? Innocent, remember?
So it's a little bit off tempo, which is okay, because we're just testing to see if the songs work. So in my case, I'm gonna go up here to this little plus and minus button, and that's gonna really slowly kind of inch the beat grid so that they match. But I'm also gonna listen, because you can use your eyes to see if the beat grids match up, but a lot of times, being that it's just an acapella, there's no like drum beat for Serato to analyze, so sometimes the beat grids are off, sometimes they're right, but in this case it's better to just use your ears.
All we did was care for each other, but the night was warm.
So the vocal's a little bit fast right now, so I want to slow it down.
We were bold and young, all around.
And now it's a little bit slow, so now I'm going to speed it up and find that sweet spot right in between.
The wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Focus, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Focus, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on.
Okay, so right here we've run into a little bit of a dilemma. The vocal ended fairly early. And now we have this really long build up, which, you know, some people might like that. Me personally, I don't. If I'm going to make some kind of remix or a mashup, I'm going to want the vocal or to lead right up to the drop. This way the energy carries through the build, and then as that last word is said in that acapella, then boom, then the drop comes in and it's like really impactful. So Then the vocal comes back in. The vocal comes back in over here.
What will we do when we get old? Will we walk down the same road?
So it kind of fits, kind of doesn't. It's off time, so you'd have to fix the time a little bit. But for now, let's focus on getting that vocal right in the beginning. So let's go back to our cue point here.
Do you recall not long ago?
And now we know that it ended like probably 8 bars too early. So now we're just going to wait a little bit. Okay, so that right there, this little bar in Exhale, this 29 bar, let's see here, the drop, so let's add a cue point here. That's our 29 bar, and over here, the drop happens at our 45 bar. So, pro tip, if you have Alexa or Google, hey Google, what is 45 minus 29?
The answer is 16.
16, baby. So that means we have 16 bars from that cue point that we just made here at 29 and before the drop. So what would fit nicely? A 16 bar acapella. So let's take a look here.
Do you recall not long ago when you would walk on the sidewalk?
That starts at our 1 bar, and the end of the acapella just so happens to end at the end of our 16 bar here. So that's going to work perfectly. So let's set that up, and let's set that up, and now here we just kind of want to hear it and make sure everything sounds right. So I'm gonna skip backwards a little bit, and we'll let it play, and then I'll drop it in as I hear it.
Do you recall not long ago?
Again, I'm just gonna speed it up a little bit to make sure that the vocals are on beat.
We would walk on the sidewalk, innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other, but the night was warm, we were golden young. All around the window, we would only hold on to let go. Focus, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Focus, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on.
Cool. All right, so we know that is going to work in terms of phrasing and having the vocal line up with the drop. So now we just kind of want to get it right, and we want to get our cue points right. This way you can play your cue point that's right before or right after the acapella, right as your, I guess, little play bar in Serato here passes that cue point, and this way in a live set and you're playing on an actual controller, it's going to sound nice. So here's the tricky part where we're going to try and get everything exact to where it lines up perfect. So in our case, the vocal kind of ended a little bit too early. I was messing with the timing and it wasn't really working out perfectly, so we're going to play with it and we're going to see how we can get everything to match up. So for those of you who are not using a controller and you're just using Serato on the computer, I'm using space to control this top song, which is in our deck 1, and I'm using S to play and pause deck 2.
Do you recall? Do you recall not long ago?
So that's a little bit slow.
Do you recall not long ago when you walk on the sidewalk?
Okay, that's perfect right there. So
Innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other, but the night was warm, we were golden young. All around the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Focus.
So, as you can see, our beat grids aren't lining up perfectly, but the vocal is perfectly in beat with the instrumental. Like I was saying before, there's no drum track on the acapella, so it's going to be hard for Serato's algorithm to analyze that for you. So, we can see here that the vocal happens right before this one beat. So to put it in context here, the best place, basically the vocal's best place to start is going to be like right here. And I'm gonna press space and S together at the same time.
Do you recall not long ago when you walked on the sidewalk? Innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other. But the night was warm, we were golden young. All around, the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go.
Cool. Alright, so we know it's a little bit ahead, so now we're just gonna play around with it until we get it exact.
Do you recall?
So, let's see here. What we can do is we can make a second cue point in time with our drop-in point here, which this is no longer our drop-in point, so I'm going to rename this drop-in. And then what we can do is, you know, if you're a little bit OCD like me, you can make the same color cue, and then you can also write drop-in. This way, in a live setting, you know Exhale's an instrumental track, and your cue point is named drop in, and then on your acapella it's also named drop in, and you know exactly where you are, because if you don't do this for a while, it's going to be hard to remember exactly where the drop in point is and things like that. And this way, if you prepare your tracks, it's easier to create live mashups and things like that. So let's see here. We've set our cue point, and I think that's a little bit early, so I'm just gonna fix that. I'm gonna add it here. Let's see how it sounds.
Do you recall not long ago?
I hit that a little bit too late.
Do you recall not long ago when you walked on the sidewalk? Innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other, but the night was warm.
Perfect. That works perfect. Cool. So our cue points are lined up, and we know that that is exactly where we want to drop it in. So now, as we're playing our instrumental, I'm going to cue up my drop-in point right here. Let's rename that. So now this is labeled drop in. Okay, I know that's where I want to drop in. So as soon as our little play bar right here passes over that cue point, you want to hit it at exactly that point where both yellow cue points match up.
Do you recall not long ago when you walked on the sidewalk?
And there you go. You have an instant mashup right off the bat. So
Remember.
the only thing that I'm going to like get a little bit picky about is we're gonna listen ahead to right before the drop, and you're gonna see that the vocal kind of cuts out a little bit. If you know how to use the effects on your DJ controller, then you can add a little bit of echo or a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb on there, and kind of just crank it up as soon as that vocal hits the last like syllable, and this way it'll flood over into the drop, and it's going to sound nicely. I'll show you an example now.
All we did was care for each other, but the night was warm, we were golden young. All around, the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Focus, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Focus, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Focus, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on.
All right. So, you saw how that last vocal right here just kind of cuts out really quickly. For some people, it doesn't matter. You know, if you're playing a big gig or you're playing at a club or a party, and you know people are drinking and stuff like that, obviously that's probably not something that people are going to notice. Just as a producer and a DJ, I'm really attentive to little things like that. So something like that would bother me. So that's going to be it for today's video, showing you how to mash up, you know, your own vocal and instrumental just like that. However, I'm going to make a separate video if you're an FL user or you're a music producer and you're comfortable with using a DAW and you want to follow along in Logic, Ableton, or FL. I'm going to show you how to create your own mashup in a DAW. This way you don't have to worry about mixing them live and messing up or missing your cue point or messing up the effects or anything like that. We're going to time stretch everything. We're going to make sure everything lines up perfectly. We're going to add some delay, add some reverb, a little bit of effects, and we're really going to fuse in the acapella nicely with the instrumental, and we're going to export it as one MP3. This way, when you're playing in a live track, in a live set, you have your very own mashup, and then you can use it without worrying about getting all the cue points right and setting the BPM and everything all on the fly. So it takes a little bit of stress out of the live set. So, if you guys enjoyed what you saw today, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. If you would like to see me demonstrate these on real DJ decks, let me know. And if you are interested in creating your own mashup in a DAW, I'm going to link the video below. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.
Do you recall not long ago when you walked on the sidewalk? Innocent